You clicked on this video because you need more melons and or pumpkins. I don't know why you need these, I just know how to get them as easily and efficiently as possible. Please somebody tell me in the comments, why are you farming these? This farm will produce over 2,000 pumpkin melon blocks per hour and it only requires 6 pistons. I can guarantee this is the cheapest fully automatic pumpkin melon farm that you will find. Hey, what is up guys? Don't worry, I'm about to fix my uploading schedule. This farm is not only fully automatic, it is expandable to whatever size you would like, although I wouldn't recommend building it any larger than the one I'm showing here. And despite having a flying machine, this farm will automatically restart itself upon being unloaded. That is right, this flying machine features awesome tech that was discovered by Eggfer. As for the flying machine design, I have to give credit to OAir TV, so make sure to show him some love. Now that we've covered the important details for this farm, let's go straight to the materials and block by block tutorial. Now for this farm, we're going to have two different options here. One is a single chunk build of the farm, which is the top materials here, and then the other option is a 3-chunk build. That's the one that I was showcasing. The 3-chunk build additionally has the materials on bottom. For the small farm, you're going to need 2 stacks of rails. For the big farm, you're going to need an additional 4 stacks of rails. You also need a minimum 12 powered rails and 12 more additional ones for the big one. You're also going to need a minimum 2 hoppers and 2 for the bigger farm. You're also going to want 2 hopper minecarts and 2 more for the bigger farm. You're going to need a full stack of seeds, and you can do these however you'd like, although I'd recommend alternating them pumpkin melon, because they will grow faster. You're going to need an additional 2 stacks of seeds for the bigger farm. For the flying machine, you're going to need these 10 slime blocks, 8 observers, 4 pistons, 2 sticky pistons, 3 repeaters, a redstone torch, and about 36 redstone. You're also going to need 2 obsidian to stop the flying machine. This extra redstone, repeaters, and observers are to start the flying machine after it's been unloaded. To extend this system, you're going to need an additional 30 redstone and 2 repeaters if you're building the larger one. And then for either farm size, you're going to need quite a few stacks of blocks to build this with. I'm going to have some marker blocks as well. These are optional. You're also going to need tools, water buckets, and torches. If you have an efficiency 3 diamond shovel, it can insta-mine dirt, which will make this farm a lot easier to build. Once you've gotten everything, let's begin. Alright, the first step is we're going to have to find chunk borders. Now this may sound difficult, but I promise you it's easier than it seems. All that you have to do is have coordinates enabled. As you can see, in the top left corner of my screen, I have 3 numbers. The only ones that we're concerned with are the X and the Z, which are the first and third number. So as you see here, whenever I put this firework into my offhand, I've got a texture pack enabled that'll show me chunk borders. And this farm needs to be aligned on chunk borders. Chunks in Minecraft are 16 by 16 blocks. And as you can tell, at 0, 0, I'm in the bottom left corner of a chunk. If I move right or up, it's going to go positive. What this means is if I divide my coordinate by 16 and it comes out to be a whole number, then you are on the front edge of a chunk border. So right now I've got 32 in the top corner. Dividing that by 16 gives me 2, which means this block is going to be just across a chunk border, which means right here is going to be the chunk border from 31 to 32. If I go into F5, you can tell with the rocket here, this is the chunk border. We can then repeat the same process on this side. So I'm going to keep increasing my coordinate until, boom, multiple of 16 right there. That means I just crossed a chunk border right here. And as you can tell, there's a chunk border. Now on the negative side, this is going to be a little bit different. That means that you're going to be on the forward side of the chunk border. So if I go forward, now my coordinates at 16. That means if I place a block here and here, this is going to be the chunk border. Same thing for the first coordinate. If I go in this direction, now I'm at 16. If I place a block here and here, this is going to be a chunk border. I'm now going to start the farm. So first you're going to want to find a big flat open area. Our first step is we're going to mark out chunk borders. We're going to need for the big farm 3 chunks and for the small farm just 1 chunk. So what I'm going to do is walk forward, and right here I'm at 352 on the X coordinate. That means when I divide by 16, it's going to give me a whole number, 22. What this means, since that number is positive, is that right here, these 2 blocks is the chunk border. So I'm going to put down blocks just like that. I'm going to double check this with my firework rocket to show you guys it's true. So as you can see right here, I'm on a chunk border. I'm then going to repeat the process in the Z direction. So I'm going to continue until I hit here. And right there at 464, when I divide that by 16, I get 29. And since it's in the negative direction, that means if I go another block forward, it's going to be crossing the chunk border. So that means right here is going to be a chunk border. And look at there, these are the chunk border. So then what I'm going to do is follow this until it hits that one, and this is going to be the square we're going to make. Luckily these are really close to each other, but in yours it may be a little bit further apart. Now that you have a chunk border, you can base everything off of this, although I would do this twice just to make sure you didn't mess up the first one. Alright, so right here I walked until I hit 368, which divides evenly with 16. That means right here is going to be my chunk border. I'm then going to walk in the Z direction, and once again I end up at 464, which divides into 29. That means that these 2 blocks are going to be the chunk border. Then using these blocks and lining them up, this is going to be the square where all the 4 chunk borders are. Going into F5, I can see that this is true. Now that I have 2 chunk borders, I'm going to want to extend this. In this tutorial, I'm going to be building the 3-chunk farm. To make the 1-chunk farm, all that you have to do is shorten it. I'm now going to mark out the other corners of the chunk. So what I'm going to do is count 15 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is going to be the corner of another chunk. If I go into F5, you can tell that this is correct. I'm then going to repeat this in this direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Just like that, we now have 4 corners of a chunk. I'm then going to repeat this process for 2 more chunks that direction. As you can tell, we now have 3 chunks marked out. Now that this time I actually remembered to press record, you're going to want to start by digging out holes for the chests. On the right side here, you're going to want to dig 1, 2, 3 blocks over and dig 2 down for your chest. Also dig out a little hole so you can access it. Alright, on this side, I accidentally messed up while filming this and had to move it all forward another block later, so you actually want to build this chest another block forward. You're then going to want to place hoppers on the inside like this, and then dig out a channel all the way down except 2 blocks from the chunk border on the right side. On the left side, repeat this process but dig all the way to the chunk border. Once you've dug these, you're then going to place rails like this. Put powered rails at both ends. Once you've placed all these rails, it should look something like this. You then want to head somewhere in the middle chunk and place an extra set of rails. This will just help to keep the minecart moving and is only required for the bigger version of the farm. You then want to go underneath the rails and place levers to power them. For the rails on the storage side, you're going to want to do something different. On the left side, place 2 blocks like this and 1 extra one with a lever to power the outside rail. On the right side, place 2 blocks here and just a lever on top of this one to power it. For the inside rails, you're going to want to first move them forward a block, and then place a lever underneath to power them. Once all the rails are in place, you then want to cover everything up with a layer of dirt. Finally, place in your hopper minecarts. Now what we're going to want to do is place in our water. So start by counting 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks forward and go 1 block here. Then fill in this entire middle row with blocks. At the other end, count in 4 blocks as well. Then fill this in with water. Once you finish that row, count 4 blocks in on this side, and once again, place blocks like this to hold the water. Extend this to the other side, and once again, count in 4 blocks. Once you've filled this in with water, mirror the exact same thing on the other side. Count in 4 blocks, and then place in your water. Now that you've placed in your water, you want to place down torches. Make sure to place one at least every 7th block. This is to make sure the melons and pumpkins grow. It's okay if you place more than you need. You then want to go around and hoe this dirt. Next, we're going to want to plant our seeds. Make sure to alternate melon and pumpkin every other block. This increases the rate that they grow exponentially. If you only need melons or only need pumpkins, it's alright to do only one of them, just know that it's going to produce overall slightly less. You're now going to want to place 2 blocks right here in the middle and place obsidian on top of it. This is going to stop the flying machine and help turn it around. Make sure it's aligned with these blocks like this. You then want to dig out blocks here, place a block here so you can place an observer facing down, and 2 blocks here. The blocks are optional, I just like placing redstone on top of them because it makes it look nice. Then place 3 more redstone blocks here, a repeater on 4 ticks, a block here, and another piece of redstone here. This is going to power the minecarts and send them once the flying machine returns. On the opposite side, staircase 2 blocks like this with redstone on top of them, and place a piston in this location. This is going to reverse the direction of the flying machine. You then need 3 more blocks like this with a repeater on 4 ticks. Once again, this is to power the hopper minecarts. When finished, this side should look like this. You then want to run to the other side and repeat the process. Pillar up 2 blocks and place obsidian. This isn't going to be exactly identical because the flying machine isn't symmetrical. You then want to dig down blocks in this spot instead and place an observer facing downward. Once again, place blocks like this. This time though, you're going to want to dig out blocks just like this and place redstone on top of all of them. Since there's no minecarts on this side, the only thing we need to power are a piston and an observer. You're also going to want to craft a slab here so the redstone dust is able to reach the piston without getting cut off. Another block that works for this is glass if you have it. Place your piston there, and you're going to be done with this side. Next, you want to place redstone dust in the middle like this. If you're building the 3-chunk variation, you're going to want to place repeaters facing outwards around the distance of the other chunk markers. It does not have to be exact. In fact, you can be quite a few blocks off and it'll still work completely fine. This trail of redstone is what helps restart the flying machine whenever it's unloaded. Finish placing the redstone dust to the end here. You now want to head around to one of the sides. I'm going to go to the right side. If you're building the 1-chunk farm, just count to the middle of that chunk. For the bigger farm, you're going to count 7 blocks over. You then want to dig a hole like this. I'm not entirely sure how many blocks in it is, I just kind of dug till I felt like it was in the middle and then dug up. Once you hit the middle, you want to make sure you know where this redstone dust is, so I'm going to replace it with a solid block. Underneath that redstone, you want to place a redstone torch. This system is going to be responsible for restarting the flying machine. You then want to place 2 redstone dusts like this, a block here, and a repeater facing into it on exactly 3 ticks. This repeater must be on 3 ticks or else the system will not work. You then want to place 2 observers facing into each other like this that power the repeater indefinitely. Once again, this tech was discovered by Egg1st, so make sure to go check out his channel. To build the flying machine, come down to the storage end and place 4 observers in these positions. Make sure to break this block. You then want to place 5 slime blocks just like this. At the end of it, you're going to want to place 2 trapdoors. These are responsible for breaking the melons and pumpkins. I chose trapdoors so they don't push the items as well. You then want to place a sticky piston facing this direction along with 5 slime blocks. Then come around to the other side, place a normal piston here and a sticky piston here. You then want to place the trapdoors on the other side. Finally, to start the flying machine, place a piston here. Now to make sure the flying machine is working, follow it to the end. If it turns itself around, you've built everything correctly. Once it gets back, the minecart should automatically go. This means you've done everything correctly. The final step is going to be placing blocks just like this. These blocks are responsible for skimming off the melons and pumpkins that get stuck on top of the outside trapdoors. Surprisingly, a lot of items can get stuck up there because Minecraft Bedrock is pretty weird. Congratulations, you've now 100% finished the farm. To check that the reload system is working, go outside of loaded chunks so the flying machine stops itself. Once you can see that the flying machine has stopped moving, go ahead and reload the farm. If the flying machine automatically restarts itself, you've built everything correctly. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. See ya!